The Chicago Bulls face the Dallas Mavericks tonight in a game where the Bulls are expected to rest their starters and the Dallas Mavericks are still fighting for their play-in lives. We're going to talk about that, plus how the Bulls are trying to be the first 10 seed to win a playing game. We're going to get into all that and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central. If you want to follow me, you can do so right off the top at CEO Haize, that's CEO Haize. If you want to follow the show, you can do so at Bulls Central Pod. But let's get into the content for today. So the Bulls have a game today against the Dallas Mavericks, in which the Bulls are expected to rest the big three at least, and probably more players than that. This could be a game in which we see a lot of Dalen Terry, may see a lot of Patrick Williams, a lot of Kobe White, even some Marko Simonovic. Do not expect the Bulls to be putting their best foot forward to win this game. They're locked into the 10 seed. They really have nothing left to play for as far as in regular season games. So Billy Donovan has already said that in the game Sunday, the season finale, he does want the starters to play because he wants to use that as a tune-up for the play-in game that they're going to play. But this game against the Dallas Mavericks, the Mavericks have a lot more to fight for than what the Chicago Bulls do. The Mavs are still trying to keep their play-in hopes alive. And if the Dallas Mavericks lose this game, they go from an 80% chance to keep their pick to a 9% chance to keep their pick. So with Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving being listed as probable for this game, this is a game that I expect the Dallas Mavericks to be trying to fight and win maybe a lot more than the Chicago Bulls. But we do know that we do have young, scrappy players, especially if Dalen Terry does play heavy minutes, that are going to compete. I'm not expecting the Bulls to come into this game, the players that do suit up and not to try to compete for this game. And so with that being said, I don't know how fun this game's going to be. I'm just going to admit you guys, I'll still be here for the post-game shows, halftime hangouts, pre-game shows, all that. But I'm not really sure even how to predict this game, because when it comes down to it, right, we don't know exactly how this game is going to shape up to be. We don't know who's going to take the court. We don't know how they're going to run offense, who they're going to run offense for if the big three are out of there. And even with Kobe White probably playing a lot of minutes in this game, he's still a huge part to this team. And I don't expect maybe him to play a lot of minutes in the second half of the game either. So this could be a game in which we're just looking at a lot of prospects, right? We're maybe looking at to see who's going to make this roster for the next season, who's going to be some of our two-way guys. Terry Taylor may play in this game. Marko Simonovic may play in this game. That may be the type of lineup that we're shaping out in this game. And so, I like I said, I don't know how fun this is going to be for casuals. I don't know how fun this game's going to be overall. But, hey, it's a Bulls game. So we're going to be here live for it, and we're going to break it all down, and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to have some fun. This may be one of the more fun post-game shows that the channel's ever had, because there's no expectations on this game at all for the Chicago Bulls. And so, we'll see what happens. I do look at this and I say, like I said, a chance to get an extended look at Dalen Terry, like I said, Terry Taylor, Marko Simonovic, Carlik Jones, the G League MVP, may be playing a lot of minutes in this game as well. But outside of that, I really do not know how to predict this. And, it is what it is, man. Let me know what your guys' expectations are for the game. I would not even be surprised if it just really not a lot of you guys are even here for the post-game show. But hey, we'll see. This could honestly be one of the more fun games, just because Dalen Terry's definitely going to compete. Like, Dalen Terry, you can't tell Dalen Terry that this is not the NBA Finals, and I fully believe that. So, we'll end up seeing what that happens and how that shapes up for this team. But let's get into the Bulls and playing, right? Because that's all what we're aiming for. That's what the team is focused on at this point, is that play-in tournament. And 10 seeds, which the Chicago Bulls are right now, are 0-4 since the play-in started. They have not secured a playoff berth as a 10 seed. No team has. DeMar DeRozan was on a 10th seed on the San Antonio Spurs. He's talked about how hard this is. The Bulls are looking to become the first 10th seed to win a road game. And then to go on and maybe even go into the playoffs. Like, I hadn't realized leading up to this just how slim those chances are for the Bulls. And so here's what I'll say. When it comes down to the play-in and what this means for the Bulls and their chances to come out the play-in, we've seen this team compete. And we know what this team can compete with when they're giving the level of heart that this team is capable of. We've seen it. But the thing is that we've also seen this team in meaningful games completely and utterly get destroyed, be out coached, and just not have the level of heart needed to secure a victory in big heart type games that you just need to come in and compete. So it leaves a lot to be desired. It leaves a lot of chance for the Bulls to come in, a high probability of chance for the Bulls to come in and just not get it done in the playing tournament, especially if they do end up playing the Toronto Raptors. That's a team that, they've been in playoff runs before. A lot of those players were still on the team when they did win the title. And so yes, the chances of the Bulls making it out the play-in are slim, right? We all know that. We knew that coming in. Now, with how the Bulls have played since the All-Star break, we know that if they can play the level of defense, we've seen how they can lock in defensively and how that's changed the tide of games. We've seen them play with heart. We've seen how good the offense can look, especially when Zach LaVine is rocking and rolling and the Bulls are hitting their shots at an efficient level. We've seen it all. But we've also seen how terrible this season has been in long stretches for the Chicago Bulls. The expectations that I have for the Bulls are at a low. I don't have very many expectations for the Bulls in the play-in. You guys know, 3 weeks ago, I didn't even expect them to be able to make the play-in tournament. So, at the end of the day, it's this. For the Bulls fans that wanted still the Bulls to have that chance and maybe getting a top 4 pick, even though it's extremely slim, those chances are probably still, and if you look at the reality of it, they're still going to probably be in the lottery. The chances of the Bulls making it out the play-in tournament are very, very slim. But again, for the more optimistic Bulls fans, for the Bulls fans that just want to see this team compete, we get an additional postseason game, and I know it's not a playoff game, but it is postseason play by the definition of what postseason is. It's after the damn season. That's what postseason means, people. But no, all jokes aside, listen, the Bulls have a tall test ahead of them going into the play-in, but what it really shakes down to is that no matter how this season ends, this season will end in disappointment for the Chicago Bulls. And when it comes to Bulls fans, we were disappointed a long time ago, right? So I'm not necessarily saying Bulls fans, we're going to be disappointed regardless. But the Bulls players, the GM, the coaches, the front office, the owner, Jerry Reinsdorf don't give a shit. Everybody in the Bulls organization, but ownership, is probably going and should be disappointed in how this season is went. And so when you look at a season in which your team is just disappointed, they have underwhelmed extremely. The only thing to really look at that point in time is to just say, all right, how do you rebound from the disappointment? What is this team prepared to do to be better and to make better choices and to have a better team out on the court next season when it's time to suit up and lace up those shoes, right? What is it? And that's the biggest question. That's why some Bulls fans have the biggest concerns that they do. It's because this front office, whether it's because of ownership, not wanting to spend the cash, whatever it is, right? Fans right now are doubting the Chicago Bulls and how much this front office is really going to put in the work to turn this damn team around. And how married they are and how attached they are to the players that they signed and brought into this team, or regardless who are on this team. We need wholesale changes. And I feel like, yes, I'm beating this drum a lot. But when it comes down to it, if the front office, regardless of me, you, anybody else, if the front office isn't disappointed in the season, if the front office isn't willing to put in heavy work needed to change this team, it's all for naught. Like, the disappointment of this season is going to be disappointment for a few seasons in a row if this team does not make the necessary changes. They have tools at their disposal, right? We know. The career and the injury exception, I've talked about it. That's a tool at their disposal. Moving off from some of these players, be it Vooch, be it DeMar, be it Zach, whatever it is, right? I've already given my chances on what I think the percentage of players returning, but this season has been a huge disappointment. And for many Bulls fans, they are just ready for this season to be over with, because it seems like at times this team and the players are ready for this season to be over with. This team is not inspired. This team is not giving us anything that we sit there and say, hey, we should be excited about the play-in because look at what this team's doing. We've had some flashes, right? Those flashes are cool. And in a season where you've been largely disappointing, okay, we'll take some flashes here and there. But overall, this Chicago Bulls team, until they're ready and prepared to make and chop off some heads, right? I don't know what to say. Billy Donovan got locked in to an extension, and many Bulls fans want to see Billy Donovan gone from this team. So a lot of Bulls fans are tired of Zach. Some are tired of DeMar. Some are tired of Vooch. Some are tired of Io. Some are like all over the place. This roster is imbalanced. The coaching leaves much to be desired for. The players don't play with heart. They come off as a heartless, non-desirable, like they don't care, lackadaisical team. And then in the next game, they'll come out and play with heart. We need a heart transplant on this team, whatever that ends up being. But we cannot run back this same team with the disappointment levels that we've had this season. This season has been downright disrespectful to the Bulls fans that pay their hard-earned money to go to games. It's disrespectful to the Bulls fans that take their time and invest their time, energy, and emotions into this team. We've done it. We've gone through a decade of struggle, right? And we saw a bit of a glimmer of hope last season and when the Bulls were number one, and it felt great, right? And then we see another glimmer of hope coming out of the All-Star break with how good the Bulls look. But every bit of hope that we're given 10 times as much disappointment from this team. We're given 10 times as much times where this team just fails. This combination, this version of this roster, it didn't work. You have pieces on this roster that you can take and move forward into the future and try to build something around and use. Yes, you do have pieces. Kobe White has shown he deserves to stay on this team. Now, Willie, that may be a different story. But Kobe White has shown the necessary improvement as a player that you can really have on your team that can be an important cog in your team going forward. Patrick Williams, as much flashes as Patrick Williams shows, it's still he recognizes that he needs to be aggressive. I mean, listen, he's a damn good defensive player. He has tons of offensive upside. He's our best three-point shooter by percentage. All those things are true. But it's also true that he sometimes looks lost. He sometimes looks disinterested. He sometimes doesn't give the necessary effort. All those things are true. Is that a piece that can a better coach get that out of him, right? Zach LaVine. We all know, like, Zach LaVine has been great for the most part since the All-Star break. He stepped up defensively this season. I want to acknowledge all those things, right? But we know that Zach LaVine is not the player that's going to lead you through a playoff series. You need another player better than him or to surround him with a damn good team for us to really get there. DeMar DeRozan, you guys know how I feel about DeMar DeRozan. Damn good. I appreciate what DeMar brings in the fourth quarter. Yes, sometimes he does slow down the offense. He's a turnstile defensively. But what he does and how that special skill set that he has on the ability to get you a tough bucket, get to the free throw line, find a way when the offense is slowing down and we just need a bucket, he finds a way to usually give that. But he's about to be a 34-year-old player on a team that is so far away from contending that his value could be bigger to a contender. And with the Bulls not having much, they could look to move that. Nikola Vucevic, the most consistent Bull this season. We know what he is. He doesn't give a lot defensively, but at the same time, you're not going to find very many centers better than him. Overall, you can find better defensive centers, absolutely, but you're not going to find very many centers better than Nikola Vucevic, right? Patrick Beverley, who came in, brought in the energy, the leadership, the communication, all that we needed, sometimes can't hit a shot to save his damn life. Same thing with Alex Cruz, so you can basically say the same two things about them. Ayo Dosunmu has a sophomore slump, still a lot of potential there. I don't want to take it away. Dalen Terry couldn't see the court because the coach refuses to play him. What is the future of this team? Right? We have pieces that are interesting on this team. We have pieces that can play probably for a long time as Chicago Bulls, but how are you going to fix this roster in a way to bring it all together, right? You can have a roster with talented pieces, but if you don't have a chef that knows how to use those ingredients and put them together to make something good out of, all the talent doesn't matter. And like I said, I'm not blaming everything on Billy Donovan, but yes, Billy Donovan's coaching is an absolute problem to this. How often he gets outcoached, his lack of making adjustments, his lack of using the players in ways that reflect the strengths of their game, all leaves much to be desired, right? And that sits us at a team that has just been disappointing for Bulls fans, that has just been disappointing to watch on the court, that has underwhelmed so much more than they have overwhelmed or shocked us, right? In a good way. And a front office that sold us on continuity, and the continuity did not work. So now what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Right? You punted. All right, cool. What are you going to do? Tough decisions need to be made this offseason. And unless we have the front office that is going to make those tough decisions, it's about to be a long, ugly offseason and the next few years for the Chicago Bulls. We don't own our own first-round pick. We could get lucky with Portland wanting to remove the protections from their pick. Maybe they send us the New York pick. Maybe they remove the protections from next. I don't know. There's possibilities there. But I'm tired of the possibilities of this team. We need to see something on the court, right? And nobody's expecting the Bulls to go from where they are to championship level contender. Some Bulls fans are, because some of you guys are just crazy. But, but it's unrealistic to expect this team to all of a sudden become a championship contender. But we can be a tough team. I would rather go back to the baby bull era of the team that fought, scrapped, and didn't get a lot of wins all the time, but that was a team that you respected the heart that they played with. This team needs a heart transplant big time. In whatever shape, form that turns into, all right, we'll take it. But we need something on this team. We need more than what we have. This season has sucked. And it's not the worst season as a Bulls fan. If you guys have been Bulls fans as long as I have, you know we've had seasons that sucked way worse than this. But it does not take away, just because we went through worse shit does not mean that we should take this kindly or lightly and we should just deal with this. This sucks. And especially as somebody who truly loves the Chicago Bulls, that's truly emotionally invested in this team, whether I should be or shouldn't, for my whole entire life, I've been a Chicago Bulls fan. There's been no other team that I've called my team. There's been no other team that I've rooted for as much as I've rooted for the Chicago Bulls. There's been no other team that I follow day in and day out in my life. Right? I'm not a fair weather. I didn't come over because Lonzo Ball come over. I didn't come over because DeMar DeRozan came over. I didn't come to this team because AK came to this team. I live and breathe the Chicago Bulls. My saying is God, family, and the Chicago Bulls in that order. And so for the Bulls fans like me, yes, we've seen harder times, but this season has been disappointing. This season has been a slap in the face, and it seems like the players don't feel that, and that's what makes it even more hurtful, right? We have to see a better team. And I know I'm saying all this, and this is before the Bulls even play a playing game. And maybe the Bulls do become the first 10 seed to make it out the playing tournament, and then we have something to celebrate, but it still doesn't change anything. This team needs wholesale changes. And we need and deserve to see that happen for this team. But that's it. That's my time. I'm done ranting for today. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching me rant. That's basically what this episode was, man. I appreciate you guys so much. Make sure you guys are following the show at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for our mailbag episodes going down this weekend, starting tomorrow, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related because of you guys. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See red if you can, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.